David Dusek for Golfweek, and it's finally here. We made it. It's Ryder Cup week, and usually this is a very slow week in the world of golf equipment, but last week at the PGA Tour Championship, the man who has helped out more golf equipment writers than any other over the years, Phil Mickelson, made a little bit of news that's related to his equipment and the Ryder Cup. Mickelson had a lot of trouble hitting fairways on Thursday during his opening round at the Tour Championship, and in fact, he only hit one of them out of 14. And afterwards, he was asked by reporters what was going on and if he was experimenting around with his equipment after having visited Hazeltine National with some members of the U.S. Ryder Cup team in preparation for this week's event. Here's what he had to say. This year I have been using a driver that's 1.5 inches shorter, and when I went to Hazeltine and saw how long of a golf course it was, I went to a longer driver again. So I hit this driver 18, 20 yards longer. That's a significant difference. I can carry it a lot farther, and I think that's going to be an advantage at Hazeltine if I drive it well, but I need to get some play in with it. I can't just show up and expect to drive it. Now, the trade-off that Phil Mickelson is talking about there is something that's really important for recreational players as well, and the one that most people give very, very little thought to. The longer the driver shaft and length that you play, the more potential club head speed you can deliver to the golf ball, and that should translate to more distance. And for Mickelson, he's saying 18 to 20 yards, which, when he's playing at Hazeltine National in the Ryder Cup, may be really critical because it's going to shorten up approach shots and allow him to be a little more aggressive in a match play format. The trade-off is that you're probably going to be a little less accurate. A shorter driver, one that has a shorter shaft on it, will probably be easier to hit right in the sweet spot. So your accuracy, your ability to hit fairways will probably increase. Now, what's really interesting, especially for recreational players, is that the difference in the club head speed and the potential speed that you're bringing to the ball can oftentimes be offset when you go to a shorter driver, because if you do hit it more in the sweet spot, you're going to be a little bit more efficient. So just because you're going with a shorter driver length, oftentimes you're not going to give up all that much distance, especially for recreational players, because the quality of your strike is that much better. Now, it's interesting to note that Callaway is making the new Big Bertha Fusion driver available in two stock lengths, 45.5 inches and 44.5 inches. 45.5 is pretty standard these days for a driver at the recreational level, but 44.5 is a touch short. The only way to find out what the ideal driver length for you is to work with a good custom fitter and find out on a launch monitor how much greater is your dispersion, how much more wild potentially are you off the tee with a longer driver shaft. If you go with a shorter shaft, you'll probably see that your dispersion pattern gets tighter. You hit more fairways, you're more accurate. Potentially you're going to give up a little bit of distance, but giving up just a couple of yards might be worth it if it helps you find more fairways. I'm David Dusek for Golfweek.